Welcome to Seasoned and Unbothered. We're two women over 50 serving grown women wisdom with a side of humor because we've earned the right to say what we mean and mean what we say.
Hello, and welcome to Seasoned and Unbothered.
Yes. So, hi, how are you today?
I am good, and hopefully, everyone out there is good as well. So, Bern, let's do a quick catch up. How's everything going? It's been a couple weeks since we spoke last.
Well, everything's going great. Just busy, 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 busy. You
hmm
know, getting the business off the ground is very, very hard work. So,
hmm
I'm just extremely busy and a lot of tennis. I have on tennis outfit today because I'm going to play tennis as soon as we're done.
Okay, that's nice. Get out there. It's rainy today, so hopefully it's indoor or is it
No,
outdoor?
it's regional, so they try to wait it out. It's in Columbia, Maryland. My match was scheduled for 2:30 today, and then they pushed it back to 3:30, and now I think they pushed it back to 4. So
hmm
we'll see. This is unfortunately regionals is hard for them to reschedule, so they try to play around the rain. So we'll see what they end up doing.
Yeah. So hopefully it will clear up for you. I am in the house today all day. I've got a list, Burn, of all the things that need to be done before we have this party on Saturday. So yeah, so I'm like looking at like what I've never hosted like a party before.
Oh,
This will be my
okay.
first. I know you host quite a bit, but I've never,
Oh,
especially did as a couple, we've never done it before.
it's a lot of work.
So yeah, so it's funny that you say that because we were like doing our shopping list and he's like all the meats because he's gonna grill, he's gonna do his brisket and ribs and all those things. And he put me in charge of the sides. And I don't really cook, but I am gonna do a macaroni and cheese, right? So I was like, I'm gonna get the other sides from Wegmans. So I'm like making the list. I'm like, this from Wegmans. So the already prepared stuff. And he's like, you have all day to cook, Tamika. And I'm like, I don't want to spend all day cooking before the party. Is that wrong? Am I wrong? I'm gonna make the macaroni and cheese. I'm gonna bake a cake, and I think I'm gonna make a peach pie. But the other stuff, I kind of like, why can't I just buy it?
You can. We do a mixture of stuff. We buy, we make. It just depends on what our menu is. It's nothing wrong with buying. So we do. So
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with baking or making it yourself, and there's nothing wrong with buying. So you just look at your menu and you look at the time and what you got to do, and you decide which one you're going to do. We do a
yeah.
combination of both. We do
That's what
more
that's
make
what I said, a
more
combination
making
of
than
both.
buying, and sometimes we even go to a restaurant and order something in particular. Like if they got something we really like, we might order just one item and pick it up. So it ranges. It just really depends.
Yeah. That's what I said. I'm gonna make a couple things, but I don't want to spend all day in this kitchen cooking before a party. I want to cook. I'm gonna make macaroni and cheese. I can make a good green salad. What else am I gonna make? I was thinking about doing some deviled eggs, still iffy about doing some deviled eggs. Oh, I want to do a tuna, like one of those Italian tuna salads. I mean, not tuna salads, Italian macaroni salads with the dressing and all cheeses and like all that kind of stuff. Like that's what I can handle. So I'm gonna do. You got to keep it simple.
The one
But
thing
yeah,
that you definitely want to do, you're inviting people to your house. You got to make sure that whatever you're making, that you make it well, because you don't want everybody to be like that is awful.
no, nothing's gonna be awful. Okay, I'm gonna be like nothing's gonna be awful.
I'm
But
telling you, just make
cooking.
sure.
Yeah, nothing. I promise you, Bird. Nothing's gonna be awful. I've actually done a prep. One thing my mother told me is that whenever you're doing something new, do a practice.
Yes, like I
So
said,
I
don't
did
try
a
nothing new. Don't try nothing
nothing new.
before.
So I did a practice macaroni and cheese last weekend or the weekend before last. I made it for and my husband and we tried it to see whether or not I can even make macaroni and cheese. And he's he was like, okay, he gave me the thumbs up. So he said, you can make this, like make the macaroni and cheese. He's like, you got this, babe. So the pasta salad I can make in my sleep, whatever, especially if I'm just using Italian dressing and I'm just throwing in stuff. A garden salad, I'm a master of a good garden salad. And then I think a couple other things, like I'm not trying to make potato salad and like all that stuff. Like, no, I'm trying to make
You're on
that.
the right track. You're on the right track.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make potato salad. I could do deviled eggs, but yeah, that's my so today is getting the house, trying to get the house a little bit in order, cleaning up and stuff so people can have a good time on Saturday. So
Okay.
we'll see.
I
My
have a
first
lot going
hosting.
on Saturday. I think we
Mhm.
have another regionals, but I think I'm going to that and then coming back to come to your thing. So we leave Sunday to go to the U.S. Open, but
Yeah.
I think our match on Saturday. I can't remember what time it is now, but
Mhm.
so yeah. But we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. So before we get started with our topics today, I kind of want to just throw in a topic that has been, and maybe it's because I just came from there, it's all over on my feed, and that has been the Black experience in Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about that because I've never been there.
Okay. So we are going next year. Okay, Bird? We're
Oh, the group.
going.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I have not put it in the group chat yet, but I spent 4 days in Martha's Vineyard last weekend with my best friend. I think I may have said it in a previous podcast. Her family rents a house for 2 weeks in Martha's Vineyard. And I could tell you, Bern, it was one of the best vacation experiences I've had in a long time. It was so nice. And how do I describe it? Like, first, I just love the ocean, the coast. I'm an East Coast girl, raised in Connecticut. Went to Martha's Vineyard when I was younger, but never went as an adult. And we would only go for a day or two. So we would go up for the day and then kind of come back. So to actually spend 4 or 5 days there, we did a mixture of beach. We went to a couple parties. Um, I would have to say that, how do I it's expensive. That's why we that's why I'm like, I gotta make sure what I present to the group. One and a
It's
lot of people
expensive.
do think
Oh, eating out or just everything you do there is expensive.
staying there is very expensive.
Staying.
So,
Oh, accommodation.
lodging expensive. Restaurants, we couldn't even get a reservation in a restaurant to eat. We got one reservation. You gotta reserve 30 days in advance, unless you will not get a restaurant. So you gotta, like, really plan. So we got into one restaurant, but most of the time, what they do there is that because it's very connected, it's a very weird culture. So, like, you'll be invited to someone's house for lunch and pool. So a lot of it was like going to her friends' houses that were renting there for the week. They would have food, drinks, you eat there, party there, swim at their house maybe, and then you come home and you invite people over to your house. So it's a different type of vacation culture. And one lady's house we stayed in, I think she was there for a week, was $30,000 for the week. And it was like a full-fledged it was like something that you would see in like a movie, like it had the pool, jacuzzi, it was like a huge coastal house. So that's the type of numbers. My friend's house which was more of like a ranch style house, and it just so happened that she knows the owner. So I think there was a discount applied to it. It was 5,000 a week, and that's with a discount. So where he would be charging her 10,000 for the 10 weeks, he would probably charge someone else 20,000 for the 2 weeks. So that's what makes I think staying there like somewhat very expensive. So that's the only challenge is, are we willing to go in 20 grand? And most people are. My husband is like, hell no. So He's like, "No." He's like, "Why are we spending 20 grand to go to Massachusetts when we could spend 20 grand and go to Hawaii? Spend
Right.
less
Yeah.
in Hawaii." He's like, "You're crazy." He's like, "Why do people do that?" And I'm like, "Well, I think it's the vibe and experience, and I think that cachet that's going around about Martha Vineyard and that kind of elevated Black culture thing that's kind of happening now, like that elitism, and I felt there was a lot of elitism there.
I can say, well, when you talk about that price point, that's what you're going to get anyway, because
Yeah.
the average Joe Blow is not going to spend that kind of money, right?
Yeah.
Because you could do so much more with that money. So it just depends on what you want. So if we just all want to try it one time for the experience, why not? I'm always for some of that because sometimes you do have to raise your standards. Like I want to I really want to go to Costa Rica and I want to stay in my friend's villa. And the villa's like $10,000 because of the shelf and everything. And it's beautiful. I mean, off the cliff. It's just really, really beautiful. But I can't find some other people who want to do it. They're like, well, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, but it's
Yeah.
like
I get yeah.
vacationing. It's vacationing on a whole nother level, yo. Y'all don't even know
Yeah.
what that's like unless you try it.
Yeah. And that's what I felt about Martha's Vineyard. It was on a whole other level. And I actually liked the idea of not feeling like you had to go out every night. And I don't her friends were very nice, very welcoming. I like that vibe of we're going to so and so's house for dinner or whatever. And they hosted and then you got to meet very interesting people, have great conversations, stuff like that. We went to one party, this uptown party. It was funny. I was telling my husband this last night. I was like, so we go to this party. It's an outdoor party, beautiful venue, very much our vibe. Like we would have had, like I just pictured us being there, having like the best time ever. And there's tables and stuff, and like women are like leaving their purses on the tables and like going off. And I'm like, hot, like all the expensive handbags you could imagine just laid out on a table. The owner's nowhere in sight because they've gone into the bar or they've gone to get food. And there was like no fear of like your bag being stolen or anything. It was like, this is very different. People feel very, that's the vibe, which I like. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So next
Um,
year
yeah, that's how, again, I'm all for new experiences. So
yeah.
I will indulge in something crazy. I might not do it again, but I will indulge and see. And you never know. It may be such a great experience that we all decide we want to do it all the time.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know.
hooked. I'm hooked. I'm ready. I'm looking for the house for us to all to stay in. Um, but yeah, so as we get started, Bert, do you have a topic or do you want me
Hey,
to?
you go ahead with your topic. It was funny because I should have wrote it down. I'm getting to this point, guys. I have to write stuff down. It was something I had on my mind. I thought about it and I said, "Oh, I need to send this to be," and I never sent it to you. And this morning, for the life of me, I couldn't remember what it was. I said, "What was the question?" Because I listen to a lot of radio, and so I listened to some of their questions, and that's what I usually come with. I'm like, "Don't have a really good question." I'm like, "Oh man, we need to talk about that." And something did come up this week, and I just do not remember what it was. But I've had such
So,
a busy week that I just can't remember.
so it may come back to you. Sorry, I'm trying to turn off my notifications. If you heard a little beep, I forgot that I put notifications on this computer. But I wanted to talk about something because I'm very much ingrained in social media.
Yes.
Not sure much as if Burn is with this topic, but the the thought of the trad wife. And for a while, I didn't even know what trad meant. I was like, oh, that means traditional. So the whole thing of the traditional wife and how that is very much kind of a hot topic and debate on social media, specifically TikTok. I'm not sure, Bern, if you're familiar with Nora Smith. I think that's her name. Nora Smith.
The young lady I just looked at, the 19-year-old lady.
Nora, is it Nora Smith? I just want to make sure I'm not making them
Is it
up.
the 19-year-old, the clip you sent?
Yeah, Nara Smith is one. I didn't send you her video, but Nara Smith is probably one of the most famous. I'm going to use parentheses when we're talking about tradwife, but the full definition, just want to come with the definition before we talk about it. This is a married woman who embraces the 1950s style gender roles, choosing to focus entirely on homemaking, child rearing, while her husband acts as the sole financial provider. The concept has grown into popularity online, subculture, and social media movement. The core lifestyle choices around homemaking, prioritizing raising numerous children, submitting to their role, treating their husband as the head of the house and primary breadwinner, and in some cases, not all, wearing very vintage style clothes or whatever, dressing in a more modest style. So I sent you a couple videos that came across my feed of very young women who have embraced this lifestyle. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Saw the videos, and I do not think there's anything wrong with it. I think to each his own when it comes to tradition and the roles. Now, I'm not. It look like it sounds like it's by choice for them to be that way, and I think if a couple decides that that's how they want to um live their lives and the type of marriage that they want, I think it's okay. I will tell you, for me, um, I probably wish I had a little bit more of the traditional role in my relationship, but I have embraced that it's just not that way anymore. Like, I think I work just as hard as my husband worked, not just in the home, but just in general, right? And I grew up where my mom and dad had more traditional roles. I remember my dad took care of everything. My mom worked, but her money was to do whatever she wanted to do with it. Like, it's like she took care of the household, so to speak. But my dad paid the mortgage, the cars, all those things. And it was really funny is the other day I needed gas, and I said, hey baby, I said, you gonna take my car and get some gas? And he was like, no. And I'm like, and I'm like, there's some things about it that I miss. I wish he would. I've been in a relationship where a guy is more like that mindset, and I really enjoy that. But am I more like that? No. I'm not the traditional wife, right? So I said I can't put the expectations on him to be traditional when I don't want to be traditional. And like we our roles are really, really reversed. It's not even reversed, they're just completely different. He cooks, he cleans. We don't even wash each other clothes. He washes clothes, I wash my clothes. Um, I, I will pay for someone to clean our house, and he's like, I can just clean the house. And I said, well, if you are cleaning, clean it, but I'm not cleaning it, right?
Your house is too big. There you go.
And
Easier
then
said than done. Easy.
he-
hire, but hire
I go
somebody.
to the gas station. He will put gas in my car, but
Yeah.
he is not. I can say, oh man, I'm so tired. I'm gonna need to get gas in the morning. He is not going to budge. And in past relationships, my my first husband, he would have got up and I didn't even have to say anything. He always on Sundays he would gas my car up. He cleaned my car on Saturdays. My car was always nice because he took care of it. My husband do not lift a finger to do anything for my car. If anything, he talks about how bad my car needs to be cleaned. And I'm like, you can at least take it to the car wash. He would not even do that. So it's kind of funny. So I don't know. But I respect it. I respect the roles. I say I like the roles, but I do. Can I live that type of relationship? Probably not, because I don't want to cook and clean and do all those
Yeah.
things for him.
I agree with you, but with a slight different new or challenge that I have, especially with the videos that I sent you. I will play one of the videos here so that they can see it.
I'm 19 years old, married, no degree, no 9 to 5, and I'm exactly where I want to be. Me and my husband dated for 6 weeks before getting engaged. I got married at my husband's house. Also, yes, me and my husband do have an age gap. He is 10 years older than me.
So I would say that my issue is the age. the two videos that I showed you, these women are very young. And do I have, if you want to get married at 18 or 19 or 19, I guess even at 18, if you're an adult legally aged to be married, 18, 19, 20, I think that what I find with social media is that number one, um, the age of these women. I think that kind of puts me back a little bit where you're saying that, hey, I'm 19. I I'm not gonna further my education. I'm not gonna do these things. My husband's gonna take care of me. Maybe I was always raised that you have a backup plan. Like, and I think what I've totally believed is sometimes our education, even if you went to 4 years of school and decided that this or whatever, got a trade and went into hygiene, whatever it is. That to me is the new that I just I'm like I always feel like you have to have something for yourself, and how I was raised is that that's your education. Like, no one can take that away from you, and you can always use that if as a backup plan. And also to me, which I feel like what I have seen, especially being on social media for so long, is that traditional wives are not on social media. Social media, especially in the way that they're using it, is to provide an income. These women are working. They're creating TikToks, they're creating content, they're selling products, they've got links to this is what I wore. It's a lie. They are not true traditional wives because they're using social media to commoditize. I don't say
Monetize,
you know
monetize.
to monetize. Thank you, to monetize. So I think there's that a real traditional wife is not on social media.
I would disagree with that on the only on the sense of she brought up Proverbs 31, and I am a proponent of Proverbs 31. But it talks about a woman, a Proverbs 31 woman still finds a way to bring in income. And it's talking about in the Bible, it was talking about she's woven, she made clothes, she did what she's still using her gifts, her talents in a home atmosphere, but to still bring in money for the family, right? So they're still finding a way. So social media is that means. It's not like they baking
Yeah.
goods and selling them. Hold on, so they're not baking goods and selling them, but they found another way to still bring money to the table, still bring in income to diversify.
That's not what they're all, but that may be one. But what I
Oh,
see a
okay,
lot
but that's the
is
only ones I saw.
yeah. But I would say that I just a couple examples of like what is out there. But what I'm seeing a lot of also is, hey, I'm 19. I am a stay-at-home wife. I don't have any kids right now, but I plan to. And my husband is the primary provider. I am not doing anything. And then a couple videos later, they're showing their outfit of the day with like, whatever. So I just think that to me, I don't know. I think that it's selling something out there. I think selling this ideal life, and I feel like more younger people are, especially younger women, are saying, hey, I want a man to take care of me. I want a man with money. I hear that a lot, like he's going to take care of me. Like that's not the reality of it. The majority of women are going to have to work. And I would
Yes,
say I
but
probably do have a more traditional, I would say one thing about my husband, which is that he is a little bit more on the
traditional side.
traditional side. Yeah. He's he's definitely more on the traditional side. He, um, like, I don't know what our mortgage is. I don't pay there's certain things I just stopped paying when I got married, and I don't know. But I still, like I said, I don't really cook. He does also cook. I I pay for the house cleaning. It comes out of my budget because I'm not gonna do it. I don't wash his clothes. So, but I try and make sure that the house is not, like he doesn't have to worry about like the house being clean or things like that. I try and make sure that all that is covered. I do most of the groceries. It's like I was complaining before this started, like he ate all the eggs and didn't tell me because I do the groceries. So I need to know when we run out of stuff,
You
so
guys need
then
to
I
put a little board up there, and you can say, "Babe, when you eat all of something, just write it on the board, and I know that means
we
that he's
do.
hungry."
We have the board that he never uses. I brought it. I
Oh,
was like, I tried to get ahead of it and be like, when you use something or we need something, put it on the little board over there. So, things like that. So I would have to say, yes, he takes care of the car. He puts the gas in it. He gets make sure that it's washed because I don't do any of that type of stuff. So, but I financially I do contribute in other ways. Bulk of my stuff goes to our long.
you're living a life like I think my mother was. My mother took care at the time the children and the house itself, right? But my dad took care of everything else. Everything else my dad just took care of. And my mother worked, and she, like I said, I just remember her taking care of the house. She made sure we was eat. My mother made sure, or we didn't have a definitely didn't have a cleaning person, but she made sure that we ate. She made sure dinner was ready. But she did cook though. She did most of the cooking. I don't remember my dad cooking ever. Um, but again, I think what works best for the two people. If you meet a man who's more traditional and that's what he wants, and you're fine with that, then you're fine. And as a woman, if that's what you're looking for a man to take care of you, that you don't have to work, or if you do work, um, in this day and age, I think there are not many couples that say they want to stay at home wife, right? But it happens. And then when you start having more kids, sometimes it's cheaper for you to stay at home and raise your kids than for you to go get a job and pay for childcare and then all those things. So all that plays into what the two people really feel best fit, how they want to raise their children, how they want to live their married life. I am absolutely okay with it. I think it, you went out. I can't hear you anymore.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Would you do it if he came to you today? I'm not saying that he would, but if he said, "Hey, I think I want you to stay at home. I want you to start doing the cooking and the cleaning, and I'll take care of everything
No,
else."
hell no, hell no. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I couldn't because that's not me, right?
Yeah.
I don't even
I
like cooking.
I like it.
I don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
cooking like that. I cook when I want to
Mhm.
cook. I don't like cooking, so I would not. I will feel in bondage if I had to cook every
Yeah.
single day. If I had to stay home, staying home. It's like even when I stay home, he says he comes in. It's like you was home all day and you didn't cook. I'm like, no, I didn't. No, okay. Um, I remember when I wanted to be a little bit more traditional and thought, oh, you should
Yeah.
cook more, you should do this. But he's just a better cook, and so matter of fact, he doesn't make me feel good about cooking because he criticizes my cooking a lot, and so it really makes me not want to cook.
Yeah.
And even if I get up in the morning, sometimes I get up like at 6 something, he's still in bed. I'll be up working, doing whatever, and he'll come downstairs and I'm like, you didn't cook breakfast? I'm like, no, if the roles are reversed, if he gets up early and he's downstairs, when I get downstairs, most of the time he'll bring me breakfast upstairs in bed, or when I get
Sweet.
downstairs, I'll have a sandwich, a breakfast sandwich or something on the counter. And I told him, I said, so we have learned to respect how we each operate. And so sometimes I tell him, don't expect that from me because that's not who I am. That's who you are. And when he doesn't do it, I don't say anything. Every now and then, I think he I think he doesn't do it to prove a point to me. Like he'll eat oatmeal. He knows I don't like oatmeal, right? So he'll just go eat. So he'll go eat a bowl of oatmeal and stuff, and then I'll be like, he just didn't
You
want to
on your
cook me.
own.
He didn't
Yeah.
want to cook me anything. But if he makes something that he know I eat, he's gonna put something. He's gonna make me some.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Would
think
you
that
do
yeah,
it?
my husband goes on strike a little bit too because he is the primary cook and a couple times and also too, which is our schedules are a little bit different, is that he works weird shifts where he'll be home like all day. So I don't get home until sometimes 6, 7 o'clock at night. So I cannot fathom trying to cook something. That's not happening. So because he is home, he will cook something. Then when I get home, food will be ready and he's typically already in bed getting ready for the next day. Or he'll order something. So he has been the primary person to do all of the cooking, and that's what works for us. And I'll cook every blue moon, and he typically says how great it is, even if it's not, because I think he's maybe the opposite, where he's trying to encourage me to do it more, I think. So he'll
Yes.
say something is really
My
so then
husband,
I'll be like, "Oh."
you know my husband, he does not sugarcoat anything. And I don't even think he can make himself say it was good if he thought it wasn't. But
No, he'll
But
say
sometimes
it's
I
good,
tell
like
him, I said, I can criticize. I'm trying to get him to be better about it. Because I tell him, I said, I try to be mindful. Like, last night he told me, say, wow, you on a rampage, you complaining about everything. But to him, for me to even mention anything is complaining. And I tell him, I said, you have to learn the difference. Saying something to you is not complaining. But I have to realize, too, sometimes men just feel like a woman is nagging just because you mention it, right? And I have to remember, if I mention it, in his mind, that means it's something I don't like or whatever. And I'm trying to get him to understand sometimes I'm just talking. I'm just telling you what my day was like, or I'm just telling you about a situation. I'm not necessarily, he takes offense right away. And so we working through that. Like, I said, I need you to just listen sometimes and just hear me out. And it's not even I can ask a question and he's like, and I said, it was just a question. Did you do it or did you not? He starts to explain why he didn't do it. I didn't ask you that. I just said, did you do something?
yeah.
So I think we're just those little things. And then I'm also
Mhm.
learning, because I know he takes it that way, that sometimes I probably need to not say anything if I don't have to.
You
So
gotta pick your battles, you gotta pick your battles. That's what I've learned a lot as well. But
you
yeah, I
learned that
think that we
quickly
both
then. You have already
yeah,
learned.
I learned it quickly. But yeah, so I would think that neither of us are could be trad wives. I'm too controlling. I wanna I could never imagine having to ask him for money or like, "Hey, I need money to do this," or for him to be in control of, like, the purse strings, like, I just couldn't. I couldn't
In
operate in that
in my
way.
first marriage, I did hand over. I probably wouldn't do it again. I didn't have a problem. Actually, I enjoyed it. In my first marriage, my husband controlled all the money, and it did not bother me at all. My
Did you have
money,
to ask for money?
I have to ask for money per se because we had it set up where I got allowance,
Okay.
okay, and then he knew the things that we knew the things that were not even negotiable was my hair, my nails, so my personal care was was automatically going to be done. I didn't have to. He didn't give me the money to do it, but he knew I was going to do those things, right? He knew I was going to get my hair done. I'm going to swipe the card. He knew I was going to get my nails and toes done. You know what I mean? So those were things that were absolutely done. So what we tried to do though, anything outside of that and outside of my allowance, I it wasn't more so of asking, it was more so communicating. Because if he's running the money, I need to tell him when I'm going to take out more than I normally would, because I don't know, I don't want anything to bounce or anything to happen because he didn't know I was going to take an extra $200 or $300 or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's how it was. And it didn't bother me. I was, I would tithe. He knew I was going to pay my tithes and offering. Sometimes I would give more than what, like they may have a special offering and whatever. So I had to tell him that I gave an extra whatever because I gave more than my tithes and my offering. So it worked for us. Um, I mean, I remember us having a few run-ins, but they were like, like it was kind of interesting because he did not feel the need to tell me what he was spending, but he
Yeah.
automatically knew what I was spending. But he used to tell me,
See,
but you have
yeah.
access to the bank accounts and everything. You can look at anything you want. and he used to
But
pay
you
all the
still
bills
felt like you had to tell him ahead of time, though.
always ahead of time. But if I was right in the crunch and needed and wanted to do something and did it, if I did it though, I felt like I had to tell him I did it. I didn't wait for him to see that I did it.
No.
And that was only out of respect.
I
That was out of respect for him running the money, because it was like, you need to know that I am spending money, because I don't know. I don't even know how you pay the bills or what you pay in or what I don't know what's coming out when it's coming out.
Yeah. I would say very similar here. I not that I don't wanna be like he runs the money, but we do have a joint account, like most folks do, most married folks do, and that account is where our bills are paid. But I don't pay the like, he manages where the money goes at the time.
Yeah.
I contribute to that account. He contributes to that account. I let me be honest, I contribute a percentage into that account, and then I have my own accounts, and that is because I have to say, I like to buy stuff, and I could not imagine honestly being like, "Oh, I want this Gucci handbag. Is it okay?" How and he'd be like, "How much is a Gucci handbag?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it's $2,000." Like, I wouldn't want to have to run those things by him. Just like the other day, there's this there's a new TV. We have 5 TV. We do not need a new TV, but he wanted a new TV. So he purchased it with his money. So
That's how I
that's how we
live
do things
now.
here.
But
Yeah.
before in any I remember my husband coming home with a new car. I'm like, what the heck? You
I would
know,
not.
new car. And I remember one time, because he was really into cars. I remember one time, he probably gonna kill me for talking about him. We are friends. That I get a phone call from the car dealership, and he was getting a new car, but this time he was getting it in my name. You know?
Oh,
And I had to
no.
go and sign the paperwork. And then I was like, I don't get a whole new car, not even mentioned to me, and it's in my name. But yeah, but he ran everything, and I used to enjoy it. It was less stressful for me. I hate paying bills. Like right now, all my bills are on auto pay because I hate paying them. Now
Yeah.
I know they just all get taken care of. They come out. Now I know them most of the time. I know exactly when certain things come out. I know that this is on the 23rd, the 28th, on the 14th, the 2nd. I know when all the bills are being taken out. But I don't even look at them. Matter of fact, the other day I wanted to pay more on something. I don't even know how to do it. Like I got to go back and figure out how to do it, because he told me,
Happened to us.
he said, I want you to pay the bill off. And I'm like, okay, but I got to log on to do that. I don't even know how to do that. So and then my new
Understand.
car, I just put my new car on auto pay. And we were just
Mhm.
talking about it. I said, I just put the car on auto pay because it's easier to me to not, because I can't stand the late fees and stuff. And they all look for opportunity to hit you with a late fee. So I just put them all on auto pay, and I just make sure the money is there. And I kind of know that I can cover them all, so I don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I also put everything on auto pay, all my own personal bills and things, and even things around some of the things around the house that are automatically I take I try and take those small little charges as
Yeah.
me. But yeah, so yeah, that's all I just kind of wanted to talk about traditional wives, trad wives, the onslaught, especially within social media, seeing it a lot. I do think that I think everybody's situation is different. I think a lot of women, I think more women, I think are admitting more than ever that they would like to have more traditional roles. And I agree. There's nothing wrong with that. I think one thing about being a feminist is that I believe a feminist is saying, be what you want. If you want to be a traditional wife, be a traditional wife. If you want to be a working wife, mother, then work. Like you should have the options to choose what you want, and it shouldn't be an automatic thing.
Well, it's a
So,
beautiful
yeah,
thing if you can choose. I would say in this day and age, there probably will be more at home wives, but you in this state of the economy, in this work, in the environment we in now, it's very hard for a lot of people to
mhm,
to not have a two income family.
yeah. And I think
Um,
it's how you do it. feel very mixed on that. Yes, I think sometimes in having not my mother, but my grandmother was more of a traditional wife who worked every once in a while. And I think that there's, in some cases, you do lose the freedom to, and I don't know if all women want to lose that freedom to be able to make the choices about financial things and be able to have and spend how they want to. I really do.
It really depends too, because I, I'm going to stand on the biblical marriage and the fact that if a man is really living up to his commitment in the marriage, then even though he has all the power, he doesn't exercise it in a way that you feel any less, right? You still have a voice, you still have a say. I think that there can be very healthy relationships that are very traditional based. And just because you're in a traditional relationship doesn't mean that you don't have any power. Doesn't mean that you have to ask. As I said, it's not ask. It's just communicating. And you can maybe buy whatever you want whenever you want as well. You don't have to ask. We don't have our money together. I don't see us ever really putting all our money together. Like in the beginning of the marriage, I would give him money towards the household, right? And we just came up with a figure because he makes more than me per se. I don't know now, but he did. I think he still does. And in the beginning though, it was hard for me because I was like, when we got the house, and then he was like, okay, well, I want you to contribute this amount. And I was like, well, who said I was going to contribute that? Why you get to tell me how much I'm going to contribute? You the one that wanted to get this big old fancy house, and and then since we've been married, I was like, okay, how much is this and how much is that? And I've just learned how much all of that is. And I was like, wow, I didn't know you was paying that much. Could give a little more.
I don't even ask. I just let it happen. I don't know what the mortgage is. I don't know what the HOA is, but it's getting taken care of. We haven't been evicted yet.
So but I think it's beautiful that that if, whichever way a couple wants to do it, if it really, I think as long as both people are comfortable with it, I think
Yeah.
that's more important than what the actual roles are. And what works for one couple may not work for another couple.
Definitely. Yeah. That's why I think it's about choice and making sure that it's the right choice for you, your relationship. And also, too, you brought in the biblical part of it, which I agree should be the foundation. But that has to, but I don't know how many people are, I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions, but I don't
If
know if
people are
that's
living that
always the
now,
case.
well,
Yes.
I'm
I don't
sure
know
it's
if
not
that's
as
always
many
the
as
case.
that need to because most people are not
Yeah.
following the Bible anymore anyway.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, but
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I think it's a basis for when you look at a marriage and what a marriage is all about. That's the reason why I think so many people are not getting married today because they're not looking at the traditional roles anymore. And so in their minds, some people were thinking about why is the institution of marriage even important? But it's supposed to be for you know what's the word I'm looking for when you have children? What's it?
Procreating.
Yes, and in a I think in a safe environment, in a healthy environment, you know, we all know that not everybody have a traditional family anyway, a mother and a
Hmm.
father, and now
Hmm.
you have you know men raising children together, women raising children together. So I just think we're just so far from to what is tradition these days. I mean, I think everybody's creating their own environment, their
Tradition. I
own
think that's
world.
a good way to say it. People are creating their own traditional relationship. So maybe we are traditional wives, but just in our own way. So maybe we are trad wives.
You heard it here first, right? Season is about.
That's going to be my new TikTok series. You gave me an idea, Burn. I am a trad wife, just in my own way.
That is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do
Anything
you
you want
guys
to,
think? What do you guys
yeah,
do? Like, what kind of relationship are you in? Like if you don't mind sharing. I know sometimes people find a lot of things very personal, but as you know, I'm an open book, so I'm like, it is what it is. hopefully people can learn from me, learn what to do or not to do, whatever it may be. So yeah, I would love to hear and see what you all think and how people are living, what kind of relationship, what are you most and be honest, what do you really want? Because I'll be very honest, did I get everything I really want? No. But I've learned too that you have to compromise. That's another reason too. Like a lot of women, I think we get I'll go back to one thing you said about getting education and doing all those things, and because the one girl was like she was very big on 19. I don't have a plan B or whatever she was saying, all those things. Um, and I think, and she, I guess you were saying that she doesn't have an education. I
outside
think
of high
education.
school. Yeah.
I think education is really important, but more than just education, it's self worth and it's what you want, right? Because there, I mean, because education is also different. Like some people go to trade school, some people do
Yeah,
other
that's what I was
things.
saying. It's not just college education. I
Right.
think, that's why I said you could be a dental hygienist. You could be whatever. I just think, I don't know. And that's just how I
I
was
think
raised.
education is important in a sense of think about it. And if you really are set, this is, people used to grow up before. Like, remember the fairy tale, we want the wedding and we want this and we want that. And the tradition was like my mother was home when we got home most of the time. Even if she had a job, most of the time my mother still was home when we got home. Um, Whether it made a difference or not, I don't know, but she was there. I don't know why. But with if you're really set on a tradition and you're set on raising your children and doing that, and like you said, 19 and married, I'm really surprised she doesn't have kids yet, right? Because most of the time, you got to think back in the day, my mother and them, they got married before they were even 18 and 19 most of the time. They got married very, very young, and they started having children by the time they were 17 and 18, right? Um, so I think, but to be on your own, it's okay if you. It's okay if that is the choice she made for herself, versus if she got married and he said you can't be educated. You know what I mean? Like if that's a true choice you made for yourself,
Mhm.
is that I high school education is good enough for me. I want to have children, be a stay at home, raise my children, homeschool my children. It all may fit into that plan, right? And so going to college or doing it doesn't mean that she's not educated. She may not be formally educated. She may take in classes to do certain things, to learn how to do certain things. And obviously they're smart enough that they learn how to monetize on social media.
That's
So
what I'm
they're
saying.
not by
You know.
far
Mhm.
they are smart in their own way, right? And book
These are
sense,
business women. These are business women.
yes. I say that even sometimes I look at the when you look at the jail population, some of the greatest businessmen are in jail. I look at drug dealers and I say they are smart. Most of the drug dealers, and this is strange, and I'm not boosting being a drug dealer,
You're
right?
not condoning it. She's not condoning this, people.
I'm not condoning being, but what I look at with them is how smart some of them really are, and they don't even realize it. Right? They are businessmen. They learn how to buy the product, how to um distribute the
Promote the
product. They
product.
come up with a
Yep.
distribution chain, just applying it the wrong way.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you like, there are people that went to Harvard Business Law and couldn't develop a business from scratch like you have, with all the other dangers and stuff that involve. How you even learn how to when I look at The Wire and some of those movies, I'm like, these guys are really smart. I mean, they had the look, they had some systems in place, even how they hid their money, how they got their money, like all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Mhm.
And my friends always tell me some of the smartest people are in jail. They just
Yeah. They just had one flaw in their plan, which is them in jail.
the
It was
law.
just not a perfect business plan. There's always a flaw. But yeah, please let us know in the comments what's your thoughts on traditional wives, your opinion on that, and how it's being either monetized or not on social media. And I just want to add again, please don't forget to like and subscribe. We are trying to grow this channel and we need all of you to be able to make that happen. So if you are watching this video right now, subscribe, okay? Give us a thumbs up so we can grow. Anything else you want to add, Vern, before we say goodbye?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I had a
Right.
great conversation. There was something totally different I never thought about.
Yeah.
It was a great talk.
All right. Thank you. And we will see y'all soon. Bye.
Season.
Oh, yeah. Stay seasoned. Stay seasoned. All right. You ready, Vern?
Okay.
Stay seasoned and unbothered.
One day, guys, we're going to get it together.
We will. I forgot. Bye-bye.
Bye.